tell them guys, that will dry. Yeah, that's another out. I cleaned one yesterday, and then I loaded it for clean. Hardly anyway. Let's bring back. Okay. Let's move the good shot. Okay.
All right. We're live.
All right. For Draco. That's what I thought he was. So I seen fine. Oh, o'clock.
Back here in your room, group time. Go, group time. 9:06, let's go, group time. Damn. Can't eat that banana left?
Yeah, I got it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Andrew gave me 2 bananas. Nice one.
Okay. Thank you. No, sir. No, sir. That's no problem. What time you got? Not 12. Well, I'm around there. I'm just gonna take off. She got all my book, everything she came and got me here. Well, I can't let you out of my sight. You already picked the time over there. Worse than I am. That's all right. That's right. She just wants to see me. I ain't gonna mess up on that time. Oh, one with the big ears?
Yeah, what did he give him hair?
I don't know.
What the hell
Yes,
you got
that's
going?
food. Yes.
He should listen when they talk. Have one good mouth.
That looks like his brain.
Could be his way.
Mm-hmm. Talking about smart, so he got a big ass brain.
That's not good.
Isn't he?
That's right.
Listen before
2
you
ears,
speak.
1 mouth.
Think before you speak.
Yeah. Dr. G. What do you people hair?
That's a hair or brain.
Brain.
That's okay.
Brain. That's the brain.
He told her that.
Sometimes I don't know what it is until after.
I can tell he got a big brain, big ears.
Yeah, he got a big brain and some big ears.
Listen and think before they speak.
Good morning. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. We're having group, and let me send that message to Miss Valencia so she knows we're having group. And find her. Make sure that you do your sign-in sheet. There's not a lot of us here. I don't know how many folks are over at North, but it doesn't matter. We're here. So make sure that you fill out your sign-in sheet so that it is legible. I will ask you to excuse me a bit because I'm still having some issues, and my phone is still live this morning because my doctor may be calling me just like yesterday. Of course, yesterday, no one called. So my doctor is not overly concerned with me croaking. So, I called him and let him know that I'm having all of these issues today. And so I have an appointment on the 5th of January, and they were so concerned that they moved it back to the 29th of February. So all I have to do now is live, 5 more days?
29th of December?
No, the 29th of December, right, yeah. So I only have to live 5 more days, so that's good stuff. Instead of 10 days, yeah. But they did turn it in to the nurse and all of that kind of stuff, and they may be calling me, and if they do, well, we'll have to take a break. And we may be a little bit different. We may take some breaks differently and do some stuff. It's Christmas Eve. Yeah. And my boss lady, Miss Sierra, said, and she's gone to France and, all of that kind of stuff. She said in France, it's a big deal. So everybody wishes everybody a happy Christmas Eve. Yeah, So yeah, that's good stuff to know. So when you go to next time y'all go to France on Christmas Eve, make sure you go around and wish everybody a happy Christmas Eve, right? Yeah. Right then. I'm not going. I want to go to Norway, and then I want to go to Switzerland and back to England. I like all those places. Haven't been to Norway or Switzerland, but look, it's a goal. That's why I can't die right now. Yeah, fix all this stuff. I was listening to the radio, I think it was yesterday, and they was talking about somebody who passed away, and they said, it's really sad that this person passed away, but he lived a good, long, full life to a ripe old age. He was 71. Well, I had been 71 over a year. I'm 72, so I'm thinking, okay, everybody croaking around you, So, it'd be a dadgum shame, but if I woke up dead tomorrow, nobody'd be surprised. Well, he was 72. He wasn't doing all that well anyway, and he didn't do good at, all of that. So we're going to Make sure all of those things. And those are the only thing. We're going to take a break when it's time to take a break. We'll get out of here. But look, we're going to talk about a couple of things that's going to help us in the Christmas season. Since, most of us are not going to be at home over the Christmas holidays, and that's okay. Because we're going to be at home the next holiday, right? And we're going to take a little bit longer break today and get out maybe a little early because it's Christmas Eve, right? Yeah. So we have a guy on the board, and we've already had some questions about the the person on the board. This may be a female, I'm not sure, because it doesn't have an Adam's apple. But this up on the top of this up here, and I know you can't see it very well at North, but just let me assure you, it's really well done. It's really, really well done. That's a brain. That's the brain. Because see, what we're talking about today is please and smart. And we're going to look at those acronyms here in just a minute, go over them and see what they are. These are things that we can use to help us get through any depression, anxiety, stress, or mess over the holiday season. So we have please, and then we have smart. So we're going to go over those in just a little bit. So here's the deal. I'm going to be here tomorrow for the Christmas Eve. So here Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve. So I'm bringing everybody a gift tomorrow. And I'm going to bring everybody over at North. I'm going to go by and bring you guys a gift as well. Now, here's the deal. I don't know if y'all remember it, but we had a time sometimes in the summer when everybody filled out exactly what they wanted for Christmas. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to give everybody what they put on that card for Christmas. One of the issues that we have with that is the fact that all of those people who were here that filled the cards out have graduated. They gone. So, most of you guys ain't getting anything because you weren't here to fill out the card. You know what I'm saying? So,
You're funny.
That wasn't my plan, was it?
Yeah. So, tomorrow you may get something. And, I do know that there's something special coming on Christmas while you're here. And on Christmas Eve while you're here. And tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so something special coming tomorrow. Y'all want to know what it is? Good, because I ain't telling. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is because it's special. It's going to be something wonderful. And, it's not anything to do with insanity clause. A fat man in a red suit coming down your chimney to leave you all kind of good stuff under. That's insane. So, I have renamed him Insanity Claus. So, is it all right to believe in Santa Claus? Look, if you want to believe in Santa Claus, that's all right. That's okay. I got some land I want to sell you. Stuff like that. But look, we are going to be here tomorrow, so we're going to finish up the family health thing tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. But today, we got to a place. Today is Tuesday. So yesterday we talked a little bit about being estranged. Remember what estranged means? Sometimes we got some problems with some of our people, right? Yes. And you know what strikes me as funny is that we have addiction issues and we've done all sorts of stuff. My addiction helped me to steal some stuff from my family. My addiction helped me to lose some stuff. My addiction helped me to do some stuff that was just not, morally uplifting and all of that kind of stuff. And so I know that. And there's people in my family right now that looks at me cockeyed. And look, I've been in my recovery longer than some of you have been alive. For a minute. And still some of my family go, look at me a little cockeyed, So they will. What's really kind of entertaining to me and a little bit funny to me is even though we are estranged for really good reasons, there's so many people in recovery that seem to be surprised or shocked by it. Look, If if you hit somebody in the mouth, or if you steal their car, or if you break into the house while they're gone, steal all of your mom's jewelry and stuff like that, they may become a little estranged. So what are we trying to rebuild over the years? Trust. Trying to rebuild trust. How long does it take to rebuild trust?
It's up to them.
Yeah, how many times does someone lie to you for you to distrust them? One time. One time. You lie to me once, you will lie to me twice, right? You lie to me once, you will lie to me 100 times, right? So, how many people have, and you don't have to raise your hand. I see y'all over at North, by the way. But, how many people have, in their addiction, not now that we're in our recovery, have lied to people? Man, that's why I tell y'all all the time I'm in recovery from lying. And look, I got some really good lies, but I am working toward not doing. If you ask me something, don't ask me something you don't want to know about. I've had people ask me stuff and then I tell them and they get upset with me. Don't ask me if you don't want to know, because I'm going to tell you. I remember my wife, she had her hair done one time and it didn't turn out right. And her hair was kind of orange. And she asked me, she said, well, does it look all right? I said, yeah, if you want a job down at McDonald's, like the clown, And so she was not happy with that. But, don't ask me if you don't want, right? You don't want to know the truth. So anyway, sometimes we're estranged, but look, we're estranged for really good reason. So we really are. I've lost some good friends because I made passes at their wives. That's a really good look. That's a really good reason for somebody not to want me as their bestest, mostest, goodest friend. Because people have to trust you, right? And so if they don't trust you, let me tell you something. You will spend the rest of your life trying to rebuild lost trust. Sometimes, now look, don't get offended. Sometimes it's a more sensible thing to find new people than to try to rebuild trust with old people. Because sometimes you're never gonna. I know that my sister has passed on, but for years and years and years and years, when I went to her house, she would put her purse up. I hadn't done anything like that in years, but still, she'd put her purse. That makes sense. So then we move a little bit, we're estranged, but on the next stage is we get to a place where we're insecure. We're not really completely estranged anymore, and we've made some inroads into some of that stuff, but you have maintained many, when we're at the insecure stage, if not most family relationships, still got them all intact, or most of them, but some are all in a state of insecurity. We really don't know how they feel about us. They may not love us. They may not like us. When I was working at the prison, we had visitation every Sunday and a Saturday, and sometimes I had to be there. I was never there on Sunday, but I was there on Saturday. And we had people that, we'd have dozens and dozens of people come to visit. And some of these guys, some of the worst people, some of the best people I ever met was in prison. Met some good Christian people in prison, but inmates. But then I also met some really bad people in prison. Their mamas would come see them anyway. They had issues with them, but they would come see them. Not a lot of daddies, but mamas would come. And they'd have a whole bunch of quarters so they could buy stuff for them and, all of that kind of stuff. They couldn't take it back. They had to eat it and drink it there in the visitation room. But, mamas and all. So there are some people out there that still love you, but they don't like you all that much. So it says that's a state of insecurity. Others see a need for change. However, past actions or conflicts have damaged the relationship in the family. I damaged some relationships. Some of the relationships that I damaged are beyond repair. Well, my brother and I are trying to rebuild our relationship now. And it's a long range relationship. I mean, he lives in Mississippi and I live over here. But we're talking back and forth. I sent him a card and I sent him a gift. So I'm looking for mine. I'm hoping mine will show up. But we met when we went on our last vacation. My brother hadn't seen him in probably 10 years, but we met. But instead of going somewhere to eat, and I've told y'all the story, or showing up at his house, we met in the Walmart parking lot for 20 minutes. Is that a good relationship? No. But it is a better relationship than what I had before. Yeah, it's some kind of relationship, so we have to give time for that stuff to build back up, and so look, trust is a hard thing to rebuild. Some big deal is for us not to give up on building the trust, because as time goes forward, we can do that. It can be done. Can do it. So the first thing we're going to do is look at some of these things. We're going to look at please. Now, one of the things that we notice about this guy or this girl or whatever this person is, they have a big old brain, right? What else do they have?
Ears.
Big old ears, right? So what does that tell us?
Listen.
They're smart, and smart people listen. Smart people pay attention. Smart people listen. If you go, we have every Tuesday we have a clinical meeting in there. I don't get to stay for the whole clinical meeting. When these ladies walk out, that will be because they finished the clinical meeting. They talk about everything that's going on in every person, all of that kind of stuff. They do it over on North, and then over here with our clinical director. One person in there sits kind of quiet mostly, and you watch, and they're listening, taking notes. There's another lady in there that when we sit down, when her butt hits this chair, her mouth opens up, and for the whole time we're there. And I don't hear all that well, and so I miss about 90% of what she says. But she's student. But you look around, and this other person is writing and calculating and thinking and putting it all down. And later on in the week, she'll come and say, "Hey, how about this and how about that?" And that shows that there's somebody really intelligent who's paying attention, listening. So not all the time when somebody's very quiet, or they, not paying attention, or that they're afraid to get engaged. Sometimes they're not, right? Sometimes they're just smarter than you. Not smarter than you guys. I mean, come on. So first we're going to look at please. What does that mean? What does that stand for? What do you think the PL stands for?
People.
People, man, that was a good thing. Look. Places. Let's read this first and then we'll go. The please skill in dialectic behavior therapy. This is actually a very good therapy that we use all the time as counselors. You may not, when you sit down in front of your counselor, they don't usually say, "Okay, I'm going to use DBT with you today." But they do. It's just some of the things we do. It's a simple acronym that helps us to remember the essentials of maintaining mental and physical well-being. Here's the deal. Y'all know for the last month, I just have not felt well. I've not been well. And so here's, and I've said this about 30 times, that when you feel well, you do well. This is why it's important for us to have physical activity in our lives, because when I feel good, I do good. When I feel bad, I do bad. I don't do as well. My job is not as well done. I'm doing my group this morning thinking about, man, wonder how long it'd take me to do my notes so I can go home. So I have, enough staff here today that I just might go to my house, So, it might happen like that. So sometimes when we feel well, we do well. It helps us to remember all of those things. And physical well-being during the holiday season is really important. Because here's the thing, I can very easily sit down and start thinking about the fact that, I'm not going to be at home this Christmas. I'm not going to be able to get some of my wife's very good cooking this Christmas, and I'm not going to see my grandchildren. And I'm old enough to have great grandchildren. My daughter was at church with us this last Sunday, and we were having Christmas cookies. And yesterday was my grandson's birthday. Real bad. I mean, his birthday is almost right at Christmas. And she was letting me know how hard it was. He's 34. And she said, Dad, yeah, you know how hard it is to have a child who's 34 years old? I said, well, shut up. 'Cause I have a grandchild who's 34 years old. I have grandchildren. That's great grandchildren who's 7, 8 years old. Oh my God. So she was a little apologetic after that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay, shut up. No problem. But especially during the holiday season. So we're going to look at some stuff that we're going to try to apply. Please skill to manage intense emotions that can arise during this time of the year. Helping us stay balanced, calm, amidst the holiday stress. Here's the deal. I went to, and I got to go back today, but I went to Sam's yesterday. Y'all been to Sam's? No, it wasn't Sam's. I went to Walmart. Y'all been to Walmart here lately? Oh my goodness. I went to Walmart yesterday for just a couple of little bitty things. There were 33,000 people in Walmart. All of them was in the same line. Yeah, I have to apologize to people all the time when I'm in the store like that, because anytime I can guarantee you it never fails. If I get in the line, it stops. Something happens. The cash register explodes. The guy putting out the guy that's taking the stuff there has a mental breakdown. Something. Yesterday, I'm in the line, and there's an old lady, and she stuck her card in the machine, and it didn't work. And so, we're having horrible, terrible time because, she's sitting up there going, uh-oh, and people don't know what to do and all of that. And there's folks outside with a nice truck.
Damn, you gonna come around back?
Well, is that it's just?
Yeah, you get dropped off, I think.
Yeah, looks like you get dropped off. Yeah, go do your job there. Yeah. And so we're going to stay balanced and calm amidst the holiday stress. I'm so glad they hooked that thing up. That was good. So the PL, we were talking about that, and nobody came up. Man, he could leave that truck, huh? A nice GMC truck. Oh yeah, there it is. That man done got your truck.
Appreciate it.
Look. Hey, Mark, they just left.
Yeah, you left.
They left.
No.
Yeah, he walking around.
The guy's walking around.
You say you're going to walk around?
Well, it's good. That's good
That's good
exercise.
exercise.
Okay, the first one here, the PL stands for treat physical illness. You got something wrong? Don't sit around. A lot of the times, I call my doctor about 5 times. That lady already thinks that I'm a hypochondriac. I told her, I said, look him, lady. You might think I'm a hypochondriac, but you got to notice him. See the way she's looking at me? That's because I told on her this morning in group.
It's close.
She thought she was going to be able to get by with all that, but I told on her. Now, see, look at her.
First she watched me spaz out, then you laughed at me, then you snitched on me.
She's like she don't even know me. Her bag got stuck this morning, and she kept pulling and it wouldn't come, and she just tore that bag up, and it's like she was beating that bag to death. And then I'm laughing at her, and she jumped on me, and then I told on her in group, and she's not happy with me. So anyway, treat physical illness. Make sure to look after your overall physical health by having regular checkups. All right, I have to take a break. We're going to break now for the next couple, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. That's actually my doctor. Bill?
Oh, Keisha. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Keisha. What you left to say? Oh, man, what up, Missy? All right. Yeah, man. Got 3 hours? Take a break.
There's some little man back there needs to call. I was getting coffee myself.
I know.
I didn't use my lunch.
I know.
Stop that. Then we just had one walking. You tried to drop him right here. I'm like, oh no, you gotta go.
Oh, yeah, he's back there. That's what he said. Cross it home. It should not stop.
Yeah,
Slow.
I can see the order. A lot of people.
Saying that Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Been doing this a long time.
So you gonna be here tomorrow too?
Yes, ma'am. Here tomorrow, half
What's
the
the
day.
scene?
Yeah, I'm just a part time, so I gotta get my hours.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
That's true. I used to. The part time. I don't mind, so I'm thankful.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Thankful I got a job.
That's right.
I did.
That's right.
I don't have one.
Right? A lot.
Wow. I don't take it for granted.
Oh, I know.
It's always better.
Always.
Mm-hmm. It all, and I know, reward, orders.
You're all one paycheck away.
My friend, I was living in Dallas that week. Cancer. She has thousands. She owned her own business. So took away income. And she found a lot of help. Cancer organizations. Some of them gave her about 3 months. I think she got 3 hospitals paid for. So she can kind of get on her feet. She was blessed. But they had all kinds of resources up there.
Yeah.
In fact, the shirt I'm wearing, I bought it at one. So, say on some. Drum for the needle and that's because they said it was fundraising.
Yeah, but you know, places like Houston, big places, they have a lot of help.
Yeah, Houston.
You say that. What was the last hurricane we had? Harvey. I was in the show at the time.
Yeah.
Sam was down here. Our family lived in Dallas. But anyway, so we could only catch a flight in to Dallas. There's a long story short. Dallas had so many resources. I had a case, okay, so I get it in the time check. Like, hey, when I got there, they had like a federal source, right? So anyway, they took me in for the evaluation, and I couldn't find out.
Did your doctor come on you back?
No, I get like 20%.
She just wanted some more information and said that they may call me back again. But
I was here, they wouldn't.
You know,
But up there, it's
I
like
have an appointment on the 29th, but maybe they're getting. Yeah, and she's called to get the imaging from those people.
Yeah, they gotta get all that back.
So I don't know. We still may get these guys back. We don't do it
No,
again.
they won't. Nah, they didn't see it.
We don't let it go.
Let me get this man's coffee. So, you know, the veteran stuff needs to really be straight.
Well, they don't. I said this a long time ago, and I know people don't like it. But if my government really want to show me how thankful they are, veterans shouldn't have to pay taxes, and they should go to school for free for their entire
Well,
life.
we're back. If there's anyone that's at North, go get everybody else, and we'll be here for another 15 minutes or so.
You think that much of me?
No.
There it is. Give me the same insurance that Congress.
Look, let me get out of here.
Yeah, I know, Mr. D gonna get both of us.
What we were talking about, and I do apologize for that, and that may happen again. That was the nurse lady who called and wanted some more information on everything, and then they're going to call and get the imaging people to send the imaging stuff to them directly. And one of the things that I can tell you about that, we are talking about treat physical illness. You need to personally stay on top of that stuff, because I called the imaging people yesterday and told them they needed to send that to my cardiologist. They said, absolutely, we've got it. We're going to take care of that. Yeah, man, don't worry about it. We got this. We really will. And so this morning they said, well, where did you get that done? Because nobody sent us anything. So, stay on top of your own physical health, because that's your responsibility, right? Yeah, we have to make sure, because everybody else in the world is not going to care as much about your physical health as you should. So make sure to look after your overall physical health, having regular checkups. Yeah, and we do that around here. We have a nurse that sees you when you first come in. If you have an issue, you can go to the Smart Clinic, or you can go to the Baptist, or you can see a counselor or a therapist or whatever you need to do. So make sure that you do that. One of the big deals is staying active. Go out there, play basketball, walk around this place, do what you need to do, run in place, do some push-ups, size, straddle hops, whatever it is, do something. When you stop moving, you start dying. So go do something. Whatever it is, figure out something. When I was in the military, we had to run 5 miles every day. And they said, look, the way that you do that, the way that you can stay in really good physical shape is to find something you enjoy doing and then do that. And I've had people tell me, well, my greatest joy in life is watching TV. Okay. Get you one of those little bitty portable ones and carry it with you as you walk around somewhere because, look, you got to do something. Find something that you enjoy that causes you to be active. Playing basketball. What you guys out there, some of you, that's a great thing. Sometimes going fishing will work because you got to be a little bit active. I saw a guy lose his boat trying to get it on the trailer, and he was pretty active there for a few minutes, But usually when I used to go fishing, we carried a bucket, and, you get there and you kill the worm or the shrimp or whatever you're going to put on there, and you throw it in the water and set on the boat. My sons and I used to go fishing. We'd take a big old couple of big coolers with us, and y'all know where Lake Houston is? There's a way that you can get down behind the spillway. And it's like a river down there, you get behind the spillway. And guys go down there by the dozens to fish for top fish or perch or whatever they're fishing for. And my sons and I would go and we would put whatever bait on stink bait and stuff and fish on the bottom. They'd be over there and catch a fish every now and then. We'd catch dozens of catfish. We fill up our thing with catfish because the catfish are down there. Whatever these guys are losing, the catfish are eating, and so they're, So it was good. But do something that causes you to have to do something active. Just get active. That's really good for you. Taking care of your body helps your mind stay stable and healthy. One of the things, we have a little facility. One of the things we do a treatment plan when people want to get away from anger, grief, or smoking, or the use of drugs or alcohol. One of the things on the treatment plan is an activity. It's exercise. If you come at two or three things, exercise, positive self-talk. If you say, well, I don't want to do positive self-talk and I'm not going to exercise, we dismiss you. This is our treatment plan. And if you tell us you can't do the treatment plan, we don't have anything for you. So that keeps you stable and happy and healthy. And so what does the E stand for? Anybody got an idea? What is it? Energy? Is that what you said?
Easy.
Easy? Man said easy. That's down for easy. You know where his mind's at? I'm going to do me some exercise, but it's going to have to be easy.
Excellent.
What is it?
Excellent.
Excellent. He said, I'm going to do some easy, excellent. Anybody else? Both of those were good, but what it actually stands for is eating. Eating. What we want is balanced eating. Anybody here eat the right, correct way? I don't. I don't eat the way I'm diabetic, and I don't eat the way that I'm supposed to eat. And I'm going to, I'm telling myself I'm going to do it. I'm having a little health issue right now. And so I'm telling and that's what we do. Somebody says, okay, you have stage 4 cancer of the brain. We say, well, I'm going to change my diet. A little bit late then, right? We need to start changing our diet now. Help our children to eat correctly. I see so many young mothers give their kid, how many people on the face of the earth, 8 billion of us, should be eating Pop-Tarts? None. Nobody. Nobody. Yeah, I know. And you're going to eat it. Mark's over there with a Pop-Tart now, Yeah. I want to tell you, those are the worst stinking things. And they taste good, but so does any kind of sugar, right? Look, she's trying to get him to give her his popcorn. So eat. Look, balanced eating. That's a really good thing to help our health and to help our mental health and everything. Try to eat regular, healthy meals. Good nutrition can help your mood and keep your mood steady, give you the energy you need, making you feel less upset or stressed. Eat the right stuff. What am I going to have on Christmas around here? I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to have some. I'm going to have some ham and some nice vegetables to go with that. And then my wife is making a keto. You know what keto is? That's that special diet that's sugar free. It's good for you, all of that kind of stuff. And she's making a keto cheesecake so that we can eat something sweet. But there's not going to be any sugar involved. We use a thing called monk fruit. You know what that is? Yeah, it's a fruit that is a real sweet fruit, and they dry it and granulate it. It looks like sugar, but it is super sweet. So you got to be careful. I have an issue with it because I can put in 2 spoonfuls of it, and it's not quite enough. But you put 3 spoonfuls of it, and it's 3 times too much. So there's no, I guess I need to do 2.5 spoons or 2 1/4 or something like that. But try to eat the right foods. So what kind of food should I eat?
And sugarless.
Fruit, vegetables, what's that?
And sugarless.
Sugarless food. Here's the deal. We should be going by the color of the food. If you want to eat a lot, eat green food. Now that doesn't mean cheese that's been in the icebox too long. That means leafy green foods. Right? Turnip greens, collard greens, mustard greens, poke salad, Brussels sprout. Eat those. I do eat those. What's that other thing that my wife makes me eat? Broccoli. Broccoli's not too bad. I don't really like cauliflower. There for a while, my wife was eating keto, and she used the cauliflower and chop it all up and make rice out of it. That ain't rice. That's cauliflower chopped up. And that's what it tastes like, chopped up cauliflower. It don't taste like rice. They can make it look like rice, but it don't taste like rice. So you eat all the greens you want, and then you can eat some yellow foods, yellow squash, bananas, stuff. You eat some yellow foods, and then you can eat some red foods, but you don't eat any white foods. Bread, potatoes, rice, what is that? That's all carbohydrates, and that is bad. How many people like baked potatoes? Ooh, baked potato. But what if you took that baked potato and you scooped all the potato out of it? All of the toppings and all of the potato out, just left the skin, and then filled the skin up with granulated sugar. Would you eat it? That's about the same. That's about the same. That sugar skin, that potato skin filled with sugar is about the same impact as eating that baked potato. It's going to hurt you that bad. Sugar is poison. It's poison. It attacks every member of every organ of your body. And it's just horrible. It's also more addictive than cocaine by 3 times. It's 3 times more addictive than cocaine. So if you take a little bit of sugar, then it gets into your body, your limbic system screams at you to go get more. And so you'll go get more. And before you know, it happens to me all the time. I can go back here and eat one of her little bitty pieces of candy, and then I'm going to go buy me a whole bunch more to eat. So eat balanced food. Eat the right kind of food. So what does the A mean? Y'all quit trying to guess now, huh? Well, that's only because you've been doing so bad. Yeah, you might do better this time. What does it mean? This one is really, 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 really super important for this group of people.
Attitude.
No, that's not. Man, look, you're going to write that down. Yeah, it's good to have a good attitude, but that ain't what this is. This is avoid mood altering substances. Quit drinking and using stinking drugs. Quit using it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't use it. It's not good for you. There is no drug that is good for you. I said that one time, and some lady said, "How about that drug the doctor gives you? Is that drug the doctor gives you good for you?" No, it's not good for you. I take a handful of pills at night, another handful of pills. They're not good for me. I take them in order to continue living, but they are not good for you. Your body is supposed to be making enough insulin, making enough of this, making enough of that to keep it all regulated and doing what it's supposed to do. So these pills that you have to put in there to regulate your body, when your body's not regulating your body, also harm your body in other ways. I was taking one pill and they said, look, your blood pressure is good, but you need to take lisinopril. Y'all know what that is? Yeah. That's a drug for high blood pressure. And I said, well, if I don't have high blood pressure, why should I take the pill? They said, well, that pill is going to protect your kidneys from this other pill that you're taking. I said, okay, that's crazy. I said, yeah. So the other day I went to my endocrinologist and she said, you can stop taking that there lisinopril. I said, okay, I don't want to protect my kidneys anymore. She said, oh, it's all right. We figured out that ain't working anyway. I said, okay. So I'm killing my kidneys. Okay. So it's not good for you. So here's the deal. Don't do drugs. Just don't do that. Just cut it out, right? That's good advice. We don't need to do that. Stay away from substances like alcohol and drugs that can affect your mood and your thinking. I remember the days when I used to think, man, just a little shot would help me out. I remember the other days as it progressed a little bit when I wasn't thinking about a little shot helping me out. I was wondering when the liquor store opened. I would leave my job, leave my work, and go buy me a pint of vodka. And then I'd go out behind the liquor store or somewhere on the way back to work, and I'd have one drink. And then I'd go back to work. That one drink took to half of that bottle. So I'd drink a half a pint in one big And then, I'd go back to work. Yeah. And you think I did a good enough job when I went back to work? Well, of course not. When I'm drinking, I ain't working. When I'm drinking, I'm not eating. When I'm drinking, I'm not sleeping. When I'm drinking, I'm not thinking. I'm drinking. So vodka was my drug of choice. And because of stupidity, because I thought, somebody told me, if you drank vodka, because I was drinking bourbon, and that stuff gave me all kinds of, made you sick. Gave me reflux and all that stuff. Somebody told me, vodka won't do that. And besides, nobody can smell it on your breath. Nobody knows. That's not true. That is not true. You walk in the house after and say, hi, sweetheart. You drink half a bottle of vodka or a whole bottle of vodka, and then you drink, you ate 4 or 5 of those mints, and nobody can tell that. And you lie to your wife and you lie to your husband. No, really seriously. I'm not drunk. I'm tired. I'm weary. So avoid that stuff. Stay away from that junk. Avoiding these can help you think clearly. How many people know that if you were thinking clearly after you drink 2 or 3 bottles of booze, you would not go get in your car and take off somewhere, would you? I'm going to go for a drive. You wouldn't do that. But once you drink 2 or 3 beers or 4 or 5 beers or 7 or 8 drinks or take a couple of tokes, get a shot, whatever, you're not thinking clearly. I can. You can't walk, but you think you can drive. Mm-hmm. It's like that thing I saw in the paper the other day. This one older man was sitting next to this older guy, and they said, "How you doing?" He said, "Well, I just feel horrible. It's terrible. Life is can't hardly walk anymore. And I can't see. I cannot see. And I can't hear nothing. Thank God I can still drive." That was funny. You bunch of ingrates. Thank you. Thank you. That was funny. But we do that. We get drunk, we'll get high, and then we'll say, "No, I'm okay to drive. Where's my car?" I came out of a bar one time, and for some reason, my dad was with me at that time. We're both messed up. Came out of the bar, and I was driving. I know I had a blue pickup truck, and I went over to get in my pickup truck. Key worked, got in the pickup truck. It wouldn't go in. It went in, but it would not turn. My key wouldn't. I'm going, what the heck? Yeah, Dad's sitting in there. I'm sitting in, and here comes this big old boy out. So wait, this is my truck. He said, "No, it's not your truck." And I looked down there, there's another blue truck down there, and I said, "Please, let me get out your truck, sir. And let me go on down here to this other truck, sir. Please don't kill me." And he didn't. He just wanted me out of his truck. So I got out of his truck and went down there, and we drove off and went through the ditch and all this kind of other stuff, which is not good. So get away from that stuff. Avoiding these and help you think clearly. You can manage your emotions better. We all know that, right? This is not telling us something we don't know. I've had some emotional breakdowns, emotional mess ups. I've gotten angry and I've gotten stupid. And the really big reason that I got angry and got stupid was because I was drunk or high, right? And I smoked enough marijuana to learn that that's not something I'm going to do the rest of my life. So, which is important. Keeping yourself and your emotions under control at a better rate is important for your mental health, right? It is. And so in the Christmas season, there's a lot of people that think the best way to celebrate the birth of the Lord Jesus is to get drunk, or at least have one little shot. How many people are going to be capable of having one little shot? And no, that's nothing I'm even going to attempt to do. I'm not even going to think about that because I'm not going to have one little shot, right? I'm going to get burnt. Who I am. It's just like the sugar thing. We had that thing on Sunday. I ate 2 sugar-free cookies. That was it. I did really well. But there's a lady who made some chocolate-covered pecan. Man, and chocolate-covered pecans, you may not realize this, but chocolate-covered pecans are alive. They'll talk to you. Yeah. They were laying on that tray and they were saying, "Eat me. Go ahead, eat me. You can just have just one." That's not true. I knew that wasn't true. And there was so many other cookies and all kind of stuff there. If I'd have eaten one of those, I'd have already ate one. I've already relapsed, So what's the S for?
Size.
What is it?
Size.
Size? Size? Yeah. See, that's why we're going to miss you, because you'll say something just to say something. I like it.
Hey, security?
Security. That's it. Size and security. Actually, it's sleep. We're sleep. We're looking for physical health and all of that kind of stuff. So what we need to have is balanced sleep. I slept fairly well last night. I go to bed about 8 o'clock. I get up at 4. Last night I woke up at 3. And I fooled around till about 10 till 4 and got up, So, I get enough sleep for me. But getting enough sleep is very, very important for handling your emotions well. Look, if we're tired, if we don't have enough sleep, we're not going to handle our emotions. We're just not. So try to keep a regular sleep schedule. It's important for you to go sleep at the same time every night. That's important. We keep a regular sleep schedule. I'm going to go to sleep. I go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night every night. I do a couple of different things before I go to bed. I walk over and we have French doors between our kitchen and our living room and dining room. Now, I close the French doors and I punch the button on the goopy. You don't know what a Goofy is? It's a vacuum cleaner that goes by itself all over the house and cleans up, everything. And so I punch that, and then I go to bed and go brush my teeth and hit sack every night. About 8 o'clock, 8:15, I'm in the bed every night. And so we have to have it there at that regular time. Good sleep helps your mind work. I'm not going to say, some of you, sometimes I don't think y'all get enough sleep. But anyway, good sleep helps your mind work properly, keeps your emotions steady, reduces the chances of feeling moody or upset. So we need, if you're moody, or if you're upset, I talk to people about that all the time when they come to my little office. They say, "Hey, I'm just having issues, having trouble. My moods are not okay." What's your sleep pattern like? How much sleep are you getting? What does that have to do with anything? Everything. You sleep. You're tired. How much water are you drinking? What's that? Everything. You need to drink water. You need to be hydrated. So the last thing, what does this E stand for? Oh, exercise. That's exactly right. Exercise is going to be in everything. Exercise can lift your mood. Why does exercise lift your mood? Because it releases endorphins into your bloodstream, which makes you feel good, gets you a little tiny bit high. So it can lift your mood, reduce stress, improve your overall emotional well-being. It also helps your body produce endorphins, which makes you feel happy. All right, questions, comments, or snide remark? All right, we're going to take our break. We'll get back in about 20 minutes after and start on the next one. All right, gentlemen, thank you. Y'all doing well? Good, really well. Let's take it. Good minute, right? Okay, bye. Yes, sir. That got a bed made up in your home? That's it. You got this. This is made up. I can make it out there. Maybe room 4. I think there's a bed in there already made up. You have to make it big. 4 or 5, no. I'm sure there's one at 5 that's already made up. Think we go. Entree. Hello. 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 There's Lucky in here. See how they doing? Yo. Oh, baby. Sorry. Go down.
For you guys who took the offering, Nico. This is for you. Francis. Coffee is always going to be in that room right there.
Oh, man.
You take your damn ADHD test.
Huh?
Take your damn ADHD test.
No. And, I did my right to you. You get here, back over here. Oh, God. You know that is bad. Spill on it. Oh, God, yeah. You get here, back over here.
That's it. That's here.
you guys want to get one coffee? No. We're going to be.
That's a snack bar. You have some already. Talking over here. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, I can't believe you're leaving on me right now, Jay. Yeah. Oh. It wasn't really like you on the Look at the damn name. How you just say the way down. Ass backwards.
Yes, it is.
Maybe what?
Turn around like, I'll see you early. They were all like, what the fuck Nothing. Our recovery. Hey. Huh? Get a run.
Yes, sir. What? What fire? Your car. Oh, that's me. I did it. Y'all pressing on it.
Somebody working in it.
No, not you. You make a big one. Somebody really did jack the car. They jack one hard. You looking at this one before? Shit. I don't even ride with mine anymore. Don't. I'm finding out. Nah, if I'm going out of town, yeah. But if I'm in town, because I come to the conclusion that if I don't have it, I know it's not going to make sense. If I don't have it, I'm less likely to. Now, if I go somewhere once the sun goes down and go on
Yeah. No, we got door.
I come over from there.
Right to track.
Especially if I go to 18 or if I go to the bank, the sun go down, I'm not the one you want to come back up. I don't care if you ask me money for real. Oh yeah, I'm going yo,
See, I had mine, but it doesn't matter. Once you get put on felony probation,
yeah.
you gotta get your firearm up.
Yeah, you can't do that no more.
But after I'm done with probation, I can get it back.
Yeah, that's still my nerves. Uh,
All the firearms in my name, I had to get them all.
oh yeah, of
I had to
course.
take them to the courthouse to render them.
Wow. That's crazy.
But when I'm done with probation, I got 3 years left. When I'm done, I can have it back.
Oh,
They told my ass, if you got anything that pops, your ass is going to jail. Or a law carry your firearm.
I don't think so. Carrying weapons. Something amendment is not for you.
Even if it is, yes, you kill us.
But
You're more threatening. Like every time I get pulled over, the stop is going good. When they ask me if there any firearms in the car, I say yes, I have a firearm in the glove compartment. Immediately they pull their guns and everything. Everything gets physical. Pull me out the car, put me on the ground, put me in handcuffs. I don't even know my person. Then I have a license.
well, it doesn't matter to them.
Well, sir, you were nervous, sir.
Yeah, they are. It's always been.
I'm nervous. I think you're fucking nervous.
You just want to get that problem because I don't. There's a routine stop.
Just one day, I got pulled over. But I had my AR-15, my rifle. Then I had a little ARP, but it was in 9mm. And it's a little machine gun, and it had a 30-round clip on it. Takes Glock magazines. And shit.
Okay.
That's good ass didn't have any firearms. I took me in there in the trunk. Pulled me out, put me in handcuffs, put me against the car. Pocket open, pulled out my guns, read the serial codes on them. They all came back clean to my name.
What is this one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you can go ahead and just.
It hasn't been
It has.
no, sir.
Oh damn. I'll be broken.
Let's see.
So we're gonna say that. Get back to it.
Bring it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the next 25 minutes,
Say
put up.
real estate.
Thanks for working. Right. I'm just saying, right? That's what I was doing at the moment. But I had this. I just wanted to. I had. I'm saying. I'll just say this. I love you.
Okay. Thursday night, I'll have this week. On Saturday. And Callie wants to grab it there. She wants to turn it over. I'll call it now. Good. There, maybe. Okay. Oh,
Get the stuff out there. Take it to that wash.
What? What?
All right, we got one more minute.
I think you just had me out, sucker. I just finished eating a whole bowl full of I only can't. If it ain't cut, it ain't. No, that's another thing. Yeah, I don't like candy. That I can't eat. Yeah, let the show know.
Everybody go.
All righty then. We're back. And we finished one side of the board. That's a good thing. Now we're going to finish the other side. I don't know. We had a group, but they all left, and there's some. There's one, there's two.
We'll be right back. I think I can do
So everybody's up there getting gifts. That's just, I thought that's what you needed for Christmas. It was a book. All righty then. Thank you, ma'am. Everybody gifts. Oh, you did. You gave.
I was just about to say something.
You gave me something the other day. So thank you, man.
Did you try it out?
No, it's under the tree, waiting for Christmas. That's just the way it is. You know,
Well,
you got,
I drank out of my cup.
well, I understand, but still, you know, we don't have that much under the tree, so I had to put something on. I only managed to get my wife 8 gifts. So, all right, we got everybody back at North. So now what we're doing, we've done the please part of it. Excuse me. Now we're going to do the smart part of it. Same thing is going on. I might get called. If I get called, that'll be all right. We may quit a little early. It's Christmas Eve. Eve. It's Christmas Eve. Yeah. So what does SMART stand for?
Right?
Sobriety. I'm going to tell you something. It ought to. It doesn't. But it ought to. Sobriety is really smart. What is sobriety?
Success.
Success. I like that. It is the beginning of success. I like that. You know, sobriety is the beginning of recovery. Sobriety means I'm sober. We all experience sobriety for a moment. I used to be sick during my sobriety, but, you know, I would quit using today and I wouldn't use until tomorrow, but I was in my sobriety from the time I quit today until I started using tomorrow. Recovery is not stopping drinking or not stopping using. What is recovery?
The ongoing process, sobriety.
An ongoing process of sobriety. It's a little more than that, but that's a good analogy. It is a lifestyle change. See, when I'm sober, but usually when I'm in my sobriety, when I'm sober, I'm usually in the same lifestyle. A lot of times what causes us to fail in our recovery is we try to stay in the same lifestyle and just not use. That doesn't work at all. That's why we say stay away from old people, places, and things, because what I'm doing is changing my whole lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. I'm moving from a lifestyle of using and abusing to a lifestyle of not using. That's why I have to look at the people in my life and say that person doesn't fit. That person won't make it. That place I can't go to anymore. Those things I have to exchange for sober things. So, you know, instead of going to Bubba's Bar and Grill, I go to West End. Not West End Bar and Grill, West End AA Group, right? So it's a lifestyle change. I just don't do what I used to do. Don't do that. So SMART, we're going to be talking about these are some things in order to get myself in this holiday season, I got to have some goals. Everybody usually has some goals. We need to be making SMART goals, right? SMART goals are a structured goal-setting method that helps us create clear, actionable objectives. What's actionable mean?
Doable.
Yeah, it's doable. I can do that. I can take action on it and make it happen. If it's not actionable, I can't do it, right? Look, I would like to be one of those people that go to Mars. Is that actionable? No, not for me. I'm 72. They're not going to be looking for people who are over 70 to go to Mars. It's going to take a minute, right? And you're going to have to be in really good shape and all of these kinds of things. So they're probably not going to ask me to go to Mars. That's not actionable. I'm looking at pursuing another degree at this age. Is that actionable?
Yes.
Hey, I can do that. I can do that. As a matter of fact, I've already gone to my boss. He said that, you know, they want to help people that want to do some stuff like that. So I went and told him, look, I need $9,000 to start. He closed his door. Yeah, so that may not be happening that way, but it is actionable. So whatever goals we have to come up with, they need to be actionable, objective, to help manage holiday stress and anxiety. So here's the deal. We're trying to figure out how to deal with holiday stress and holiday anxiety. At church Sunday, my daughter told me that all of the family, and this means all of her children and grandchildren and all of my son-in-law's brothers and sisters, he's got like 7 or 8 of them, and all of their families and all of that are going to be at her house. They were all there for Thanksgiving, and they enjoyed themselves, so they said, well, we'll come back for Christmas. Okay, yeah, so she's not really, excited about that. She's under a little bit of stress about that, and so we need to get to a place where our goal is to not have a lot of stress in our lives over the holiday season. One of the reasons we have stress over the holiday season is we're not going to be at home. Some of us are leaving today and we'll be at home, but some of us won't. We had people just come in today and they won't be at home for Christmas. So we've got to figure out how to deal with that stress. So we're going to do that by breaking down larger tasks into manageable steps. Smart goals can make the holiday season feel less overwhelming. My holiday is okay. My wife's a little overwhelmed. I talked to her a little while ago. So what are you doing? And she said, I'm still wrapping gifts, you ingrate. I have to be at work, honey. I can't help you wrap gifts. She's wrapping gifts and all of that stuff still for the kids. My job is she buys gifts for everybody in the family. I buy gifts for her. That's it. I have one more gift to wrap. I'll do that tonight probably. And that will be her 8th gift under the tree. So she has the only thing I'm absolutely sure I'm getting is a pack of new T-shirts. I need a pack of new T-shirts. And I'm an adult, so kids don't like getting those things. But I do. So this approach can boost our motivation, improve our focus, provide a sense of accomplishment during what can be a challenging time of year. Is this a challenging time of year for you? Can be. It can be just the time of year. I have a minister in our church, wonderful fellow. Spent a lot of time in the pokey house, tattooed from one end to the other. God got a hold of him. Now he's a preacher, and he does pretty good job of it. But he hates Christmas. He is the Scrooge for real. And I'm talking to him, man, this is the time of year we celebrate our Savior's birth, and he's going, I don't care, all of the stress and all of the mess and spending money, and so he just not in the spirit. He's bah humbug for real, but he just needs to do some other stuff. Look, today is Christmas Eve. I'll just bet you he has not gotten his wife's present yet. That caused you some stress? Absolutely. I start shopping maybe a month before Christmas. My wife and I get together every year, just about, as far back as I can remember. And we make the decision that we're going to start shopping for Christmas all year long. We're going to stop. We're going to buy stuff on sale. We're going to do all. You know how often we've done that? Never. I'm one of those guys. I've actually bought my wife a gift from the service station on Christmas Eve. Oh my God, tomorrow's Christmas. So don't do that. There's nothing. Don't buy your wife or your husband a gift at the service station. Don't eat the sushi that you can get don't do that at the service station. So here's the deal. What do you think? If we're coming up with a good goal for our Christmas and all of that stuff, what does the S stand for? We're all the people who make guesses. We used to have some people in here. Where is he? He's gone. Come back. Specific. That makes sense. Specific.
I was going to say studious.
You're going to say what?
Studious.
Studious. Got to be specific. It has to be something that we know what it is. Yeah, you know, if I make the goal, my goal for this year is to be in better health. Is that a good goal? It is in a general kind of way, but it needs to be more specific. I need to eat foods that are heart healthy for me. I need to eat foods that are okay for diabetics for me. You know, so needs to be a little bit more specific. So be specific. What is your goal? You write down exactly what you want to achieve. Usually, look, my goal is the opposite of my issue, whatever my problem is. Now, don't get offended if this applies to you. If I'm fat, what would my goal be? To be skinny. If I indeed want to be skinny. You know, I know some pretty good sized people that are okay with being pretty good sized people, and that's okay for them, right? So if there are people who want to, change that, then it has to be opposite of that. But it needs to be specific and be clear and detailed about what you expect to accomplish. Y'all, my doctor just told me I can't work out until after they see me. So, but I'm usually over at the gym over there working out, and you can tell what their goals are. There's a couple of young men over there. Their goals are to win a trophy. They're hard at it. Okay. And then there's some other people over there. There's a couple of young guys there that are skinny to rail. And when they lift, instead of lifting, trying to do resistance training, getting more and more weight, they get more and more reps. What do reps do? They build your strength, but they're not going to build your muscle. They're not going to build up. So, you have people they have different goals, and they're specific things, And then I see older people like myself over there, and they're just trying to stay alive. Yeah. Okay. So, it has to be specific, has to be something that you know, and you need to know what you want to accomplish. An example is this. I will set aside 15 minutes each evening to unwind with a holiday-themed mindfulness activity, such as deep breathing or listening to calming music. Does Christmas music, is that sometimes calming? Some of it is, sometimes it's not. Y'all like the song, I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, like that song? I like it. It's pretty good. However, it has played on that thing that Mr. Farmer put down at the end of the hallway on a never-ending loop for like the last 2 weeks, and I'm sitting in my office, So maybe that's not all that calming. So we can do that. We can find one that we really like, and we can go home and we can sit down, practice what would be some good holiday-themed mindfulness. That means getting in the moment, thinking about something that makes you happy, thinking about something that you appreciate, about thinking about your childhood and Christmases at your childhood. Now, I don't mind thinking about Christmases. I can do some mindfulness stuff with Christmases that my kids in their Christmas, because I've always made sure that they had a pretty good Christmas. My Christmases were not all that great, We got gifts from the local church or from the welfare office, something like that, and it was those really nice wrapped pair of socks. I don't care how well you wrap a pair of socks, that ain't what a kid wants to get, right? I don't care what, you can, it ain't like that. I'm excited about getting some new T-shirts. When I was a kid, I didn't want no stinking T-shirt. I wanted a car, a BB gun, and a ball, and a dog. And I never got that. What does M mean? Where is it? What does M mean? What does it stand for? What is it?
Manageable.
Manageable. That's a real good. That's not it, but that's a real good one. Moral? No, that's not it. That's another good one. If we had manageable moral.
Mindfulness.
What is it?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. You heard us talking about mindfulness earlier. I like mindfulness. No.
Man.
So I made a specific goal. My goal has to be measurable.
He said manageable.
He said manageable, which is really close, right? That's really close. But if I'm managing means I'm going to manage it. Measurable means I'm going to measure it. Are those two different? A little bit. Yeah, they're a lot. They're different. So how will you measure your progress? How do you know you're making progress? If you're trying to lose weight, then it's easy. My wife has lost some weight, and she will happily tell me how much she's lost. And she's lost, actually, about 30 pounds. You know, that's a pretty good bit. So determine how you're going to track your progress. Know when you have achieved your goal. If you don't track your progress, you're not going to know how much time you need to have to finish your goal. You're not going to know how far you are come along with that goal. So here's the deal. An example is I took my evening mindfulness sessions in a journal and aimed to complete at least 5 sessions per week. So something that I can measure. It has to be something that's specific. I know what I want. It has to be something that's specific. I'm looking at doing another master's degree in psychology, but I want a specific degree. It's a 60-hour degree. And so to be able to manage, to measure that and be really, that's fairly easy. You know, as you're going along, you say, well, I got this much done and I got that much to go. Right? So that's pretty easy. So that's specific and that's pretty measurable. What's he aiming? Not asinine. Not that. How about achievable? Your goal needs to be something that you can actually achieve. And this is why I haven't really started on that degree, because here's the deal. I think I can achieve it, but it's going to take a minute. You know, the quickest you can achieve that would be 2 years. Probably going to take me probably 4 years to get that done. And in 4 years, I'll be 76. And if I go to get it so that I can get the licensure, you have to have 3 years of internship. That's 79. Then I have to pass the test and all of that kind of stuff. So about the time I'm 80 years old, I could have that done. So, you know, all of that tends to give you pause. You know, you look at that and say, I really want that. I don't know if I... And then when you see how much it costs, but it is achievable. It can be done. So is your goal realistic? And see, that's what I'm looking at. Is that realistic? I could do another one that would take half as much time, but it doesn't lead to licensure. And I don't know that I want to do that at any rate. Because, you know, I'm 80 years old, 81, 82. How much practice do I have left? Yeah. All right. Yeah. When I'm 90 years old, I don't want to be going to the office. I don't. So it has to be realistic. What steps can you take to make your goal achievable? What can you do? I'm going to have a really good time this year, but what am I going to be able to, what am I going to do? So you break your goal down into smaller, manageable tasks. At this moment, I am actually looking at financing, see where I can get that. And, you know, this company does help pay for some educational things. So I don't think he's willing to pay for all of it. But, you know, so here's an example. I'm going to start with 5 minutes of mindfulness each evening, gradually increase the duration by 5 minutes each week, aiming for a 20-minute session by the end of the month. That's achievable. We can do that. So I don't want a goal. I don't want to set it. I have set a bunch of goals that are way too high. And I've never been able to reach them, and it's been detrimental to my well-being, is the way that I was feeling, and even kept me in my addiction a bit longer. Because those were not achievable, not realistic. So you need to have a goal that's realistic, something you can really do. So, the R stands for what?
Realistic.
Realistic. We just did realistic. So probably it doesn't stand for realistic, but because we just did, but it should be relevant. What does relevant mean?
That you can apply,
Yeah, it's something that applies to you. Does this goal align with your broader objectives? My objective is to get another master's degree. So one of the things I'm doing is looking at different schools. Which school do I want to go to? I'm not going to quit my job and resign from my church and move to Alabama to go to Auburn University. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. If I do it, I'm going to do it online. Right? That's more relevant to what I want to do. Right? I'm going to do it online. I'll be able to continue to work, continue to pastor, and then do that when I'm home at night. Which, that's still kind of hard because, it doesn't give you much time. But ensure that your goal is relevant, meaningful to your overall life or career goal. Now, there are so many people who are getting 4-year degrees that are worthless. Where are you going to go? What you going to do if you have a 4-year degree in philosophy?
Sure.
You ain't going anywhere. That's like having a 4-year degree in basket weaving. Okay. You're not going. Okay, you got a bachelor's degree. Put that on your resume, and that's going to help you how much? Nothing. If you have a bachelor's in philosophy, don't get offended. You can go get a master's in philosophy, and then you can go get a doctorate in philosophy, and then you can get a job teaching philosophy. That's about all that, there's no other job out there for you but that. So maybe go to a trade school, learn how to be a plumber, or a HVAC guy, girl, or a carpenter. Man, I would tell you what, I would love to be a carpenter, know how to be a carpenter. I can't do that. So ensure that they're relevant to your overall thing. Reflect on the value and impact in your life of achieving that goal. If I get this degree, what's it going to do personally? If I get this next degree, I already have 4. If I get this next one, what's it going to do?
Accomplish.
Is that it?
And accomplish your.
Make me feel, give me a little bit of an accomplishment. I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree. Okay. If I get another master's degree, it's going to give me some,
Open some doors.
say it again.
Open more doors.
Oh, it would, actually, if you did the right one. It would. At my age, at my level, I don't know if I need, well, I know I don't need any more doors open. Like I said, I'm going to have to go do all of that kind of stuff to get those licenses and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't really need those doors to be open, But if I want them to be open, I have to go do them. Yeah. So it would make it an accomplishment. And the other thing, I just really enjoy doing it. I really enjoy studying and then taking a test and seeing how well I do. I really enjoy that. Unless there's statistics involved. I don't enjoy statistics. I know for a fact that the devil himself invented statistics. It's true. Yeah. So here's an example. I'm going to focus on mindfulness because it helps reduce holiday stress and promotes a sense of calm and well-being during a hectic season because they're focusing on wellness. I mean, mindfulness. So, it's going to help me to do that kind of stuff. So, what's the last one? The T. What's the T stand for?
Time.
Time. It's time bound. Time bound. That means that it has to happen within a specific time. What is your deadline for achieving the goal? That's a deadline. Set a specific date by which you plan to achieve your goal. Identify immediate actions you can take to begin the process. I will achieve my goal of practicing 20 minutes of mindfulness each evening by the end of the next 4 weeks. Have a deadline. Now tell me what this is.
Oh.
What's that? That's a deadline.
What?
A deadline.
Timeline is pretty close.
Timeline's pretty close. But that's a deadline. Look, this ain't one of them there places where you get an also run trophy. You either get it or you don't. So that's a deadline. You can see the line, and the line is dead. So you got to have a deadline so you know that, hey, look, this thing is accomplished. I did it. I made it through the holiday season, and I didn't go berserk, and I didn't get to crying, and I didn't lose my mind. Everything is all right. Right? All right. Questions, comments, or Schneider?
What is the S?
What is the S?
Specific.
Specific. Yes. It needs to be specific. We're not talking about an ocean, not Pacific, but specific. All right, we're going to quit a little bit early. Thank y'all.